father came here in 1900, what? Okay, the United States signed the treaty with Panama in 1903. And naturally they had to get people to build a canal. And the only people that could really find to do it right at that time were the people who was climatized to the climate out here that we had. And that the nearest place was in Jamaica and Barbados. Well, when I went to Jamaica, the governor or whoever was in charge of Jamaica wanted the Americans to sign a contract, employees that would be leaving Jamaica, and the Americans didn't want to do that. So they went to Barbados, and the Barbadian, the chief of Barbados, just opened his door to them, and everybody could come from Barbados to Panama. And a lot of Barbadians came here, and they're the ones that predominantly built canal, the Barbadians. My father was a Barbadian. I don't know if you ever hear of Barbados or went to Barbados, a beautiful little country. Small, but beautiful, with a lot of dignity and a lot of intelligent people. My father came here and he worked all his life till he died and whatnot. And when I was 14 years old, times were hard and the salary my father made was small and things like that. And I decided I wanted to go out and see if I could find a job to help him. And in those days they were hiring boys to carry water to the workers. And I went out, maybe I could have got more of those jobs. When I went out, and I went to the boss and told him I wanted a job, the boss looked at me and said, "What?" I said, "I'd like to get a job." He said, "We don't have children here." And I stood there for moments and he looked at me and said, "You sit over there for a while." And I sat over there in his office for a while, and he called me and he said, "I'm going to employ you as a boy." And this is my desk here in the office. And all those employees you see out there, all white Americans, you know, in the office there at the time, I have to give them work to do. And I assign the work to my desk, and each one of them there have a basket. And my work will be put in there for them to take care of. And when they get through with it, you bring it back to me for me to sign it. Sure, I'll be glad to. Then he said, in those days we used paper and pencil and ink, but ink in a little cup with little nibs, you know. You had to dip the pen. And he said, every day you have to fill those little cups, sharpen the pencils, and put new nibs in the pens, wipe down the desk. Oh, yes, sir. I wipe the desk about 2-3 times a day, because I want my job. And I stood there and worked from a boy until I retired in 1999.
Wow.
And my record shows that I worked 71 years, 6 months, and 30 days in the same division.
Wow. How was the time for the West Indians during the construction?
It wasn't
you know,
very rosy, quite to the contrary. Everything was done, it was done for the white Americans. And they gave them good housing. They had, they were able to have free housing, free schooling for their children. They gave them a pass to go to Cristobal once a year, a month. They paid them good salaries. Their salaries averaged from 200 up. That's the salaries of the Americans. And the black people lived in La Boca or in Gambo, areas like that that they made special, and there was no accommodation there. As a matter of fact, we didn't even have decent places to go bathe in the bathroom. They have an open place, you know, with the showers, a building with showers. Everybody go there and take a bath, one for men and one for women. Nothing like you would have, say, like the Americans had in their houses and so. It wasn't comfortable. It was, in all honesty, it was nothing too proud, what you say, proud for anyone to speak about the treatment that the black people got. However, that was the thing that was going at that time, at that epoch. So we had to live with it, you know. And they came here because they wanted to better their condition and to make a few dollars and go back to their country. So they had to put up with whatever it was here. And they lived with that all the way through till the canal was completely built. Then they remained, some of them remained, and some of them went back to the countries. Well, my father, he stood, and he had a family here, and he raised us, and then I got a job to help him, and he raised my mother, the family, there were 6 of us, my father, my mother, and 6 children, and we all, schooling was not very much schooling, and most of what I got to know was through my mother. My mother, she was a school teacher in the island she grew up in. That was St. Lucia. And she came here because everybody was coming here because at that time, this place was a place of coming to improve yourself and to make some money. So everybody came. My father came, so he had to follow her, and she came. And that's where I was born, in Gatun. And but most of the people that came here, they came here to dig the trench of the canal, and that's mainly the purpose of those people came. And in those times, you didn't have the modern machinery and equipment like you have today. It was built with big axe and shovels. Well, when you see men going to work in the morning on their shoulders, it's either pick, an axe, or a shovel. They're going into the trench to dig that canal, that opening for the water to flow through. That's what they came here for, and they did it. I don't, to be honest, I don't have that active experience when the canal was actually in its original operation. I was born 1913, 1 year before the canal was opened. The canal was opened 1914. So that the actual rough work and so that was almost a little over. But the canal was not finished building at that time. When they opened the canal, there was plenty still to be done. And then in 1928, when I got my job, the construction was still going on, and I was considered one of the construction workers because I worked all the way until the canal became complete. When the Americans wrote in 1939